Hey guys, Sean with Long Honeymoon here, coming to you from a canyon near Moab, Utah. I think the Red Rock was a giveaway, was it not? We're actually camping on some Bureau of Land Management or BLM land near Moab, but I'm calling this week's episode Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. No, wait, that title was taken. We're calling this one Fire and Ice in Lava Hot Springs.
Yeah, a little over 4 inches.
This week I'm going to tell you about our experience camping during the first winter storm of the winter season in Lava Hot Springs, Idaho. You know, we had been camping up at Craters of the Moon farther north in Idaho, and it was there that winter first began to tap us on the shoulder and let us know she was coming.
I guess the lesson here is be sure to double check that weather forecast and be prepared. The Boy Scouts really had a point.
We encountered a lot of cold, wet weather in Craters of the Moon, so after only a couple of nights, we decided to bug out, get out of town, head further south. If you're in the market for some taxidermy, we are standing in the heart of downtown Lava Hot Springs, Idaho. Here is the History Museum, a museum of history. It's a charming town of, I believe, fewer than 500 residents, but they have a main street here with a number of good little restaurants along the street, and also just the basics that you might need. There's a grocery store at one end of town, and there's a hardware store behind me. Naturally, my wife has already stepped inside the one store that appears to be open. Lava Hot Springs itself is a small town, but it is a major tourist destination, and people throughout the region come specifically to visit the hot springs there.
Gourmet. Before there was artisan, before there was craft, before there was bespoke, there was gourmet.
In Lava Hot Springs, we decided to camp just outside of town, a little place called Lost Trail. At Lost Trail, they have both a little motel and a small RV park. This actually represented our first campsite in more than a month that had any kind of hookup. For more than a month straight, we were staying at purely no hookup campgrounds. I'm talking about dry camping with no water, power, or sewer connection. So for the first time, we decided to stop at this Lost Trail campground for the hookup specifically. We really wanted the electrical hookup, and so we chose a site on the waterfront that had both electric and water connections. Best of all, we are located right next to the Portnoy River, and this is really a quite beautiful river. It is currently around 5:50 p.m. and there is a winter weather advisory starting at 6 p.m. And maybe these skies are a clue to what is coming. So we decided to hunker down in this campsite, which is an electric and water site. We're going to ride out the weather here. Why did we want electric? Well, because we carry a small space heater with us, and on particularly cold nights, we will run that space heater to supplement the heat coming from our propane heat furnace. It just stretches out the life of our propane tanks that much longer, and it just heats the interior of the trailer that much better, right? So we needed electricity in order to do that. Those little space heaters consume typically over 1,000 watts if you have them cranked up to max heat, which inevitably you will. You'll deplete your RV batteries pretty quickly running an electric space heater. The energy impact on your RV is about the same as running an air conditioner. So we knew we wanted electricity for that purpose. So it's right about 6:30 and the winter weather advisory started at 6. Less than half an hour later, the snow starts coming down. Maybe this is why we're basically the only people here in the park, other than the campground hosts. This shade tree may do more than protect us from the sun. It may protect us from the snow. All right, so we're a little over 6 hours into the winter storm. How do things look on the forecast?
Well, as you can see, it's 32. It says it's still snowing, and it's going to snow all night long. Low of 27, 28.
We woke up the next morning, and something that's really fun in an RV when you wake up in the morning and it's been snowing overnight is that first time you lift the blind of your RV to see what happened outside.
It's cold out there.
Yeah, it is cold out there.
And I see some snow coming down.
Yeah, it's still spitting a little snow.
Thank God for propane, huh?
Yes,
Did you stay warm last night?
I did.
You had a heating pad on your feet, though.
I did have a heating pad on my feet. It was very nice. And I slept in my long sleeve, my long pants.
Yeah, long johns come in handy in this weather. And sure enough, we got quite a bit of snow. I believe it measured out to be 4 to 5 inches worth of snow. So here's a look at our campsite here at Lost Trail in Lava Hot Springs, Idaho. We've got a nice picnic table. Will definitely cool off your buttocks area. We've got an ice pit, a fire pit. We got a really spacious cross-country snow ski area and a tree. A frozen tree. It was kind of the perfect snowfall, and that's because it was deep enough to cover everything pretty thoroughly and be beautiful to look at. And yet, it was not enough to stick around too long or cause too many travel problems. Of course, there are snow plows in that area, so the roads were plowed clear pretty quickly, and we were never inhibited from travel around the area due to the snow. It's not a shade tree, that's a shelter tree. It's providing pretty good shelter for our Airstream. With as much snow as on it now, we'd have a lot more on it if not for that tree. I think you can see all that ceramic coating is affecting the snow and ice on our trailer because it's the ice and snow's fallen off a large portion of it. But this is what we woke up to. You know, I realize that for many of our audience, the first snow of the season is no cause for celebration, because many of you live in the more Arctic, wintry portions of the world where you may be dealing with snow half of the year. Where Christy and I come from, where we grew up, snow was a rare occurrence. If we were lucky, we would see snow once a year. And there were years in my childhood where an entire year would go past with no substantial snow whatsoever. So anyway, we still feel a little twinge of that childlike enthusiasm when we see snow, even though now as adults we've experienced snow in many different places, many times. Due to growing up in a warm, tropical, sunny part of the world, we appreciate snowfall and still feel just a bit of that childlike enthusiasm. And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, the ceremonial cranking of the frozen truck. Here we go again, Seymour. And then it was time to experience Lava Hot Springs. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
For your hot springs adventure? Nothing more fun than hot springs on a snowy day. We went to the primary hot springs facility downtown, where they have a number of man-made pools, and into those pools is piped the hot spring water. And we really enjoyed these hot springs at Lava Hot Springs. The price is very reasonable. It's, I want to say, $8 per person, and it's all you can soak. In other words, you pay your price, you get your ticket, you go in, you can stay as long as you want, but if you leave and come back in, you have to buy another ticket. They do have basic locker rooms there and showers, so you can take care of all that there at the facilities. Of course, the star of the show here are the various hot spring pools, which vary in temperature from, I believe, around 100 to 102 degrees, all the way up to, believe it or not, 112 degrees. Now, there are a lot of states in the country where it's not even legal to get into 112 degree water. I'm looking at you, California. Yes, while we were hanging out in the hot springs, I had a chat with a California tourist who said that in California, the maximum temperature allowed in a hot spring is 106 degrees. But thankfully, in the great state of Idaho, you are still free to make that decision yourself. And so we sampled all the various hot springs. Something I really appreciated about Lava Hot Springs in terms of the facilities is that they've kind of blended a natural environment with a man-made environment. For example, the benches that you sit on in some of the hot springs seem like natural stone, and beneath your feet in some of the hot springs, they have a natural rock. It's kind of a sandy gravel type of rock. I really liked that blend of natural and man-made in these hot springs. Now, we started out at the coolest hot spring and worked our way all the way up to the 112 degree hot spring. I've got to say that I've never been in hotter hot spring water than in that 112 degree hot spring. It is insanely hot, but with that said, I'm happy that I was able to get into that water, if only for a couple of moments. I did find myself feeling maxed out in that 112-degree spring and had to step outside the spring into the cold air. Now, we had the good fortune at Lava Hot Springs to be there during this first winter storm of the season. So we had snowfall while we were in the hot springs. So that made this experience even more special.
Oh yeah. Roast beef, gravy, mashed potatoes with corn.
Now, we did stop on our way back out to our camper to have a nice meal at the old Chuck Wagon Diner. And yes, I do recommend that open-faced beef sandwich
With gravy, lots of gravy.
It was great comfort food on a cold winter day. Thankfully, the first winter storm of the season was a polite guest, hung out for a day or two, melted away, and obviously allowed us to move on further south. But we really had a fantastic time in Lava Hot Springs. Now, our campground at the Lost Trail campground cost around $50
A night.
So over the course of 3 or 4 nights that we stayed there, we spent a couple $100. Under the circumstances, we certainly felt it was the right call. So that's it, guys. Another sloppy episode of Long Long Honeymoon, the longest running RV channel on the interwebs. As always, we thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. And I want to make a couple of announcements. First of all, if you enjoy our live streams,
We are live.
we're going to be doing a series of special live streams on the Amazon Live platform. Amazon invited us to do these live streams. We're going to try to do 1 live stream per week leading up the whole Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. And we're going to do a special live stream on Saturday night, the night after Black Friday. They're calling Small Business Saturday. And this live stream will feature products offered by small businesses to support small businesses on the Amazon platform. And we're going to be doing that at 10 p.m. Eastern time on that Saturday. And I believe this live stream will be promoted throughout the Amazon.com site, including on the main page. So we're very excited about that one. Don't miss it. Final announcement, for those of you who want to get your RV coated with ceramic glass. It's the hottest thing going right now.
Yeah, just looking at the sides of our trailer, I do think that the ceramic coating is helping the snow and ice to slip off the aluminum a lot more easily. You can see, old Seymour does not yet have any ceramic.
Vinny and Brian are opening up a ceramic glass super center on the East Coast in Tallahassee, Florida. Doesn't have to be an Airstream travel trailer. It could also be a fiberglass RV. If you want to have your RV protected by the industry's best ceramic glass coating, take it to Tallahassee or take it out to Wilton, California to Vinny and Brian. They'll take care of you. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Sean. This is Long Long Honeymoon, where we say low loho, because here on Long Long Honeymoon we celebrate the low loho spirit. A spirit of adventure and ham sandwiches. No, we'll work on that. And look who's joining me. Well, well, well.
You're signing off without me.
Surprise appearance by my beautiful wife.
Hello. Hello.
Nice. You know, I can remember one of the happiest moments of my youth when I was about 12 years old. We got a severe winter storm in my home state of Alabama, and that storm was enough to shut down pretty much everything in my little small town for 2 weeks, including school. So I was out of school for 2 weeks, and as you might expect, we dragged the snow sleds out of the attic. Yes, for some reason we had snow sleds that that saw use about once every 2 or 3 years. For 2 weeks, we did a lot of sledding and playing in the snow and just had a great time. At least as kids we did. I'm not sure how the adults were dealing with it.